I have spent an unhealthy amount of time researching Minecraft mods. Here are the best ones I've found that enhance the vanilla experience. Just one thing first, I made this super fancy text document containing all of the technical and performance mods I use, meaning they don't add content per se, but they make the game just run better, or are simply required. Alright, with that out of the way, let's talk shaders. I personally use Complementary Reimagined in all of my videos because I think it matches the look of vanilla Minecraft the best. Then we have resource packs. First one I use is Overlay Textures. This is a really nice resource pack that blends many textures together, which makes the world feel much more natural. It works especially well when building roads and pathways. The other resource pack that I have is Vanilla Tweaks. This is a highly customizable one that lets you change the game in many different ways. I mainly use it for connected textures and more block variation, but feel free to pick whatever you want as there's a lot of choices. Last thing is data packs. I have quite a few data packs I want to go through, first one being banner flags. This is just a simple one that lets you place banners on the side of fences. It's pretty cool looking. New desert temples. This one adds a much bigger version of the desert temple, which looks really cool, while still allowing the vanilla one to spawn. New end cities. Same idea as the last one, but for end cities. Makes them a lot bigger and more detailed. New igloos. Starting to see a pattern here, huh? Just makes a bigger igloo. And then there's new ocean ruins. Just bigger ocean ruins. Next data pack I use is called Timber. This basically just makes it so you can chop down a tree in one hit. And it's not overpowered because it takes away the right amount of durability that you would use normally. Towns and towers. This data pack adds custom villages and structures to the game, and you can still find vanilla villages too. I think these custom villages look really cool, and there's a lot of awesome loot to find in here. And the last data pack I use is Vanilla Refresh. This is one of my favorite data packs for one simple reason. You can sit. If you shift click, you can sit down anywhere. It's really cool. But yeah, this data pack adds a lot of tiny quality of life features like a day tracker, stone cutters actually dealing damage. Really nice to have. Alright, time for the mods. First one is Edition Z. Edition Z adds some nice quality of life changes to the game. You'll notice villagers now close their eyes when they sleep. Path blocks give you a small speed boost, making them more useful. Spectral arrows will even give off a faint glow when they land. I mean, come on, dude. It's pretty cool. Nothing too crazy, but it adds some nice features. Advancement plaques. This mod replaces the default advancement pop-ups with this fancy new UI, as well as a sound effect. Adventure Z. This mod adds a handful of new mobs to the game, which I think fit the vanilla vibe pretty well. It's going to make exploring a lot more interesting and probably a little bit harder. Ambient Sounds 5. One thing I've always disliked about Minecraft is the eerie silence. There's not much ambience going on, which this mod fixes. This adds a ton of new forest sounds, birds chirping, ocean waves. There's a lot to check out. Amplified Nether. It just makes the Nether a lot taller. It makes the Nether a lot more intimidating, but I think it makes it much more fun to explore. Apple Skin. This just adds some simple UI elements for food, but I mainly just use it for the saturation display. Areas. You can now make custom areas that show up on screen when you enter and leave them. It's pretty nice if you make a town and you want to make it feel more proper, you know? I didn't really like the default settings, so if you want to change the text to look like mine, these are my settings. You can change this in the config file. Auditory. This mod changes most of the base game sounds, mainly focusing around block breaking and placing. Bedspreads. Simple mod that lets you apply banners to beds. You can have a pretty unique looking bed now. Better advancements. I mainly use this mod because it makes the advancements page much bigger. No idea why the default one is so small, but this one makes it a lot easier to see what's going on. Better Animations Collection. Adds a bunch of nice animations to mobs. Just some additional polish to the vanilla experience. Better Biome Blend. This mod improves upon the existing biome blend and makes biome transitions even more seamless. Better Third Person. With this mod, you can now fully rotate your camera while in third person mode, which makes playing like this a lot more enjoyable. Blur. It's a very simple mod that adds some blur when you open UI elements like your inventory. It's a nice touch and makes the UI feel more polished. Camera Overhaul. This mod adds some rotation and camera movement while you're moving around, which might not sound like a lot, but this adds a lot of realistic and satisfying reaction to your movements. I will say, the default settings are a bit much in my opinion, so I would recommend going into the config file and tweaking some things. These are my settings if you're curious, which makes the effect pretty subtle, but still noticeable. Camera Utils. This mod gives you more control of your camera, which I mainly use to offset the third-person camera and extend the distance. This way you can get some pretty cool looking shots, and it's just a nice feature to have. Cherished Worlds. This is just a simple mod that lets you favorite your worlds so they go to the top of your world list. It also makes it so you can't delete your world while it's favorited. Comforts. I absolutely love this mod. You can now have sleeping bags and hammocks. I mean, come on. What more can you ask for? Sleeping bags let you sleep through the night on the go, whereas hammocks let you sleep through the day until nightfall. Connectable chains. With this mod, you can now connect chains to fences, which is great for making railings or path barriers. Well, that's barely 5 minutes into the video, and I've already maxed out the YouTube description limit, so on to part 2.